And welcome back, everybody, to the Phantom Zone. It is the most earth-breaking, ground-shaking, but never media show money taking. The man, the myth, the legend, the most electrifying YouTuber in all of YouTube entertainment today. And today I'm doing something a little bit different. I'm doing an afternoon stream. Why? Well, because shit happens through the week, and I never have the time to cover it. So here I am doing a stream to cover some stuff that I wanted to talk about Alec Baldwin. Hey, Kermel, good to see you here, buddy. Um, I wanted to talk about this Alec Baldwin thing because Jenny God and Sherry, good to see you. Good to have y'all here. Today I'm going to get into a little bit of the Alec Baldwin thing because I have covered some stuff. Normally I wait until Friday nights when I have the crew together, but I kind of wanted to give my own thoughts because I've been around guns, I've handled guns, and I shot lots of guns in the service and in ranges and things like that. I never owned any. It's just too expensive of a hobby. Like, I'd have to own the stuff to clean them and all this. But I wanted to get into the logistics because a lot of new stuff popped up that I wanted to talk about that I found fascinating. I find this whole thing very interesting. And actually was talking to Squirrel earlier, and she, oh, that's okay. I understand, Jenny. Thank you for the picture of swimming with the sharks. That was hilarious. You'll never see me doing it, but you made it look like a giant like fish, and I mean like a docile fish. Like the lady was just swimming next to it, and I was like, "Nah, man, I don't care. I'm still not swimming next to sharks." Rebecca, how are you? Hey, I'm not used to going on this early, but I really wanted to do this solo to give some thoughts about what I think about the whole Alec Baldwin situation on a real note because there's a lot of things coming out and some things I really wanted to bring up and let people decide on. Grumpy. Well, hopefully it won't be that grumpy after I get done with the stream. Hopefully everyone will be in a good mood. Well, I mean, I'm talking about Alec Baldwin and the shooting, so probably not gonna be in a good mood, but we'll see. We'll see what the day brings. So, uh, anyways, so I'm gonna recap a little bit, but you guys were all there. Basically, accidental shooting. Um, but there's more to it. And there was a couple of things that Squirrel sent me and some things that I dug up that I wanted to read. And of course, one article is from the Sun. I'm sorry, they actually have decent coverage on the person I want to talk about. And also too, there's a thing I want to get into with Alec Baldwin's daughter going after Candace Owens, which I looked up Candace Owens and I actually checked out her video on what she had to say. And I wanted to get into how I feel about this because some YouTubers just come out, right? Some people I watch, they go, "It's a tragedy. You should keep your criticisms." I know, Jenny, fuck the Sun, but I mean, this is the U.S., so I mean, they're a conglomerate, whatever. They're still the same shitty people, but for the purposes I need, there's some stuff in there that I need. But um, there are some people on the internet who say, "Zod, you can't make fun of Alec Baldwin in this tragic time because, um, you know, this is a serious matter." Fuck you, I can't. This is fucking hilarious. And I don't mean hilarious in the fact of the people who lost their lives. That's very tragic. What happened to that principal photographer is very sad. What happened to that director is sad. But the whole thing for me is really fucking comical because as I'm reading into this, nothing on any fucking level of this was done correctly. And I'm going to point out on every level is this movie a complete and total fuck up on every single sense of the word, from the photographers to the person who's handling the guns to the person directing, because I dug up on the director and I've got a very interesting fun fact for that. Canada has a Toronto Sun and they are published garbage articles too. I agree. Um, yeah, every level of this production has been fucked, and I mean every single level. And I've got to say, folks, in film history, there's been a lot of tragic things to happen. Okay, there were some accidents in Apocalypse Down. I know some people pointed out some stuff that happened in Harry Potter. There was the shit show on the CW. A lot of people got hurt on the set of Batwoman, my fucking favorite show. God, they need to cancel that shit. And there's been a lot of different productions that have gone through hell. It's part of the biz, but this is a mismanaged shit show. And I have no clue how in the world this movie got made. And I think honestly, at this point, this movie should not even see the light of day. It should not. And I know it's hypocritical. Brandon Lee died on The Crow. Had that movie not seen the light of day, we wouldn't have had that tremendously awesome movie. But yeah. Anyways. Oh, you used to shoot guns years ago. Yep. It does seem weird. I agree. And that is weird when my boyfriend and his friends are talking about set shootings to a room full of gun using crazies talking about it. What was the production? First question, what production was doing this movie? Here's the thing. The production for this film, I haven't the slightest clue. I knew nothing about this film. This is an indie project, so the productions tend to be offshoot companies that don't have really much to do with a bigger studio. Okay, so for instance, Sony will shoot Spider-Man, right? And it'll be brought to you by Sony, but lent out to a smaller studio. And the studio is, they are distributed by Sony Entertainment, but they could have several little studios working on different aspects of the film. Now, independent movies are different because the studio could be a studio you've never heard of. For instance, I just got done watching that new Julia. Don't ask me to say her last name. I'm sorry, I'm not good with French names, but Teton. And that production company I hadn't heard of. Just like with Raw, I hadn't heard of Mongolia I've heard of before, but most of the independent film companies, because they're first starting off, their productions are vary. So I have no what's up, Geek Us Out Tendencies? What's up? I have no clue who was gonna pick this up. I have no idea. But the first article I do want to get to is very interesting. I want to talk about the assistant director because, and I'm going to bring it in. I'm going to go from the assistant director to the person handling the guns to Alec Baldwin himself, because there's a chain of command here that each step did not follow the proper procedures all the way to the actor themselves. Now, here at the end of the day, people are trying to shift off blame for Alec Baldwin, and I'm just going to come out and say it. I think he's a piece of shit. I do think human-wise, he does feel bad. You can't fake that kind of guilt. I've seen what he looks like, and he's not that good of an actor. So clearly the man is devastated by that. But with that being said, he had a live gun that he didn't check because he doesn't believe in guns, yet he's shooting a fucking Western. I'm not even going to touch on how fucking hypocritical that is. But whatever, he's an actor, right? He gets paid to act. But everybody has basic gun training. And so every step of the way, this is not just one person. This is a whole chain of people that fucked everything up, leading right to the man who shot the gun. And that's why I don't think it's as simple as just throwing it on Alec Baldwin. I think there's a lot of steps in the process where they could have stopped this from happening at any point, and they didn't. They failed to do their job. They failed to check the weapons. They failed to keep the live ammunition away from people. There's a whole bunch of failures here. And I've been digging into this because it's very interesting. And thank you, Sherry. Says El Dorado Pictures, Calvera Media, Tomsville Pictures, Brittany House Pictures, Short Porch Pictures are the production companies. Thank you. Like I said, none of those I recognize. Like, those aren't recognizable names, you know. In August 2017, production company of El Dorado Pictures signed a first look deal with ABC Studios, which is owned by Walt Disney. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if ABC was everyone had a job. Exactly, TJ. Exactly. Everybody had a job, and they failed their job every step of the way. Every single person had something that had a point where they could have stopped this from happening, and they rushed it. They were hasty. They had a fucking armorer who was young, and there's some really, I'm not gonna lie, some really good looking pictures of her, right? But she was young, and she said she didn't think she was ready for this production. And I'm going to read this article, but every step of this has been terrible. It was just, everybody failed. So no, I don't think pinning it on just him is a thing. I think everybody honestly should be arrested. Every single person on that set, barring the people who got shot, because as far as I could tell, they were the two people who were innocent in this. The person shooting behind the camera had no clue. That poor lady died at a young age without even knowing that these people weren't doing the right safety precautions. And Jenny Godden says, yeah, people have double checked the guns, even him. Maybe he didn't know to check, but people needed to keep checking. Yep. Yes, there are supposed to be two armorers. I agree. But with a small production budget, you could tell that they cut corners. So let me get to this, because this is some very interesting stuff. And the first thing that I want to read is about the armorer, who the armorer was rather good looking too, young. Like, dude, the people they hired, look, I'm not saying they gotta look older. It's Hollywood. Everyone looks young and beautiful, but they looked too young to be in that kind of a film. You guys know what I mean? Like, you got the person who doesn't look like they're ready for that. That's what this girl looked like. She looked like she was just coming out of whatever it is, learning her craft, and hadn't really honed the skills enough to know the proper safety procedures. The production of the film was suspended indefinitely. Thank you. Well, thank goodness, because that no, with the way that with what happened on that set, I think it should have been suspended. That was an excellent decision. So, first off, and this is true, the armorer did hand him a loaded gun. So, careless armorer who handed a loaded gun to Alec Baldwin on set gave gun to a child in a previous movie, which I looked that up and it happened. So this isn't the first mistake this person made. So they hired somebody who doesn't have a knowledge. And I'm going to read this other article too that said she told them she didn't think she was ready for a set like this too. So this isn't just a sun spinning stuff. I mean, this armorer has come out and stated she did not feel comfortable doing a production like this, which makes me think that somebody, hold on, I switched between the articles in this, but it makes me think that somebody pressured her due to time constraints and budgets into doing a production that she did not want to do, she was not ready to do, she wasn't capable to do, and at the very least, to save money, didn't want to hire a second person to oversee the first person because checks and balances. It's how America runs. I don't fucking understand how film studios fail to see this, okay? Everybody needs to be checked, and they weren't. What the fuck? I don't like. I'm sorry, folks. I'm gonna get crazy with this because this really pisses me off. I'm big on gun safety. Like, look, personally, I'm a proponent of people having the right to have guns. Uh, when I see stuff like this, though, kind of makes me rethink that position because of these idiots. Like, people treat guns like they are not dangerous. Husky said it the best. It's a tool, right? And you never disrespect that, right? It's a tool that can hurt people at the end of the day. And you might use it for hunting, you might use it for recreation, but at the end of the day, there's a certain respect that you have for weapons and how you handle weapons, even if it's a fucking fake weapon with blank rounds. Because even blank rounds can kill people. And it baffles my mind the disrespect for the craft. And this isn't on Baldwin. I'm talking about these fucking people who came up with this concept, the people in the production company, the people who had the fucking live guns with fucking real guns. Everybody disrespected the process from the fucking beginning. They treated a gun like it wasn't serious business, and this is what happens. And then you're going to have gun control idiots who are going to come out and go, oh, well, this is why we need to outlaw guns. And it's like, no, we don't need to outlaw guns. We need to outlaw idiots from using guns. It's people like this that need to not use the guns because they don't have respect for what they were fucking dealing with. And that's the biggest thing that pisses me off about here, because every step of this sounded like they treated this like a fucking joke. And I'm just being truthful. And I agree with, I'll bring up the person who brings up my point, but it's clear. It's clear by the way this production was handled. Nobody had any fucking respect for the process or how they handled these guns. That's just the God's honest truth. Hey, KH, how are you doing? Yeah, with the lack of training, I have now. Jenny Godding says, with the lack of training, I only have old training on guns, but most of it I've forgotten, and I would never touch a gun without proper training again. Very, very true. Is she even old enough to have the job? Holy fuck, that's what I said. That's what I said, Jenny. She looks young as hell. Tiffany, how are you, Tiffany? Good to see you. Good to see you. Hey, KH. Yeah, it baffles my mind how this whole thing was handled. And I'm not gonna lie, she's good looking. She's a good looking girl. But like, she looks more. Look, I'm not profiling here. Look, because I know some assholes could say, "Oh, it's such a sexist comment," but look, she is ridiculously good looking and ridiculously young. And I don't get the feeling of very much experience. It's not to say young people don't have experience. I knew some people when I served who were younger than me that had been hunting their whole life with their family, and they knew a gun probably better than I could ever know. And that's just real talk. But the way she described some things that I'm going to bring up, it doesn't seem like she had that. She just seemed like someone starting off in the field. And look, that's not bad. Everybody needs to get their start from somewhere. But I think this was the wrong picture with a guy who's an asshole and a gun activist. Yeah, I'm talking about you, Baldwin. Then you kind of need to be the person who's going to be like, no, you're going to take a safety course. She needed to be forceful, and she doesn't come across as that. But crew member Helena Hunches, 42, died of her injuries, while director Joel Souza was injured when a prop gun thought to have been laid out by the armor misfired, but it wasn't a misfire, we now know, and it was a live round, we now know. The two production sources have since revealed that filming on set of her last movie briefly stopped after she allegedly gave a gun to an 11-year-old without checking it properly. So this armorer has done this before and gave an 11-year-old a gun without checking it properly. One source told the Daily Beast she was a bit careless with guns, waving them around every now and again. The source, who worked alongside of Hannah Gutierrez Reed on the upcoming Nicolas Cage film, The Old Way, continued that there were a lot of times she was loading blanks and doing it in a fashion that was thought to be unsafe. The armorer was described as being inexperienced and green, which, once again, there is nothing wrong with that. But if you have somebody who's an armorer and they haven't worked on many productions, there should be a fucking second person. This explains the 2 previous incidences of guns being discharged by other crew members before the tragic incident on Thursday. So this isn't the first time. Okay? This isn't the first time. This was several different scenarios, and she did this on another production. It's fucking nuts. She looks like an intern, too damn young. Yep. Sozu was unaware of anyone on the set being checked to see whether there was live munitions before the scenes were filmed. Yeah, and I get to that too. So every step of this process, right? And I'm going to get to the director because I got my fucking beefs with the director. Squirrel reminded me this morning she couldn't be here because I wanted to get some of her input because she's really good at this, but she's got some stuff to take care of. Shout out to Mad Squirrel. But she brought up a great point to me, and I looked it up. The director was the assistant director is the same person who did one of my least favorite movies of all time that had production issues, Crow 2, because 1 and 2 both had issues. But this guy's a piece of shit and is a terrible assistant director. He's terrible. And a lot of problems that arose from that movie were a direct result of this douchebag and his influence. So he was the assistant director on this film. So when I look at this, every aspect of this movie was fucked. I can't say it's Alec's fault because the armorer clearly was not checking the guns properly and handing them out. Now, where I blame Alec is because you should check the gun. If you're shooting guns, you should check the gun. If you don't have training and the person doesn't provide training, you should get training because you're a fucking actor and that's your role. And if you're going to be dealing with weapons, you should be fucking at least base knowledge in how to load, unload, and all of the safety procedures, right? Not waving it around, firing at beer cans. Like, I don't know what the fuck, man. I can't fathom. It's crazy. I cannot fathom the really poor handling of this thing on every fucking level is spectacular. It's spectacular. It's why I'm talking about it right now. It is spectacular to me how fucked this production is. I haven't seen a more troubled production since watching a special on Apocalypse Now, which is one of my favorite movies. Or no, Platoon. Platoon. That was the one with Marlon Brando. That production was fucked. Like, so many people were fucked after that. Lives changed after that movie. Same with Abyss, had a troubled production, but this is on an incompetent level, like the highest incompetence level I've ever seen since. Well, no, I mean since The Crow. That's the last thing I can physically remember. Like, holy fuck. Yes, Tiffany, I agree. You always check before firing. It's like the basics. Like, everything is fucked about this. Are you free tomorrow night, Zod? Because yeah, I'll let you know. I got I've got work, and speaking of being competent, I have to train my two people there because I don't want to breed this kind of incompetence in my job. Because holy fuck, Lily Potter, yep, thank you, Anthony, yeah, never go point guns at other people. So now this is the armor. Look, I'm setting down framework, right. So this is the armor. Let's go to the assistant director. Like this is a line of bad decisions. So, as much as I hate Alec Baldwin, this isn't just all on the actor. All of these people need to be fucking fired or fined or jailed. The armor, at the very least, should go to jail. Alec Baldwin, I'm still up in the air about, but he does have some responsibility that he should definitely be held accountable for this. I don't give a fuck what anybody tells me. Um, it's ridiculous. But about the armor, here was the other article before I get to the director. The armor was 24-year-old head of armory of Alec Baldwin's movie Rust told a podcast she almost didn't take her last job because she wasn't sure she was ready. So she didn't even know if she was ready. She herself had expressed doubt in her experience in a podcast last month. Hannah Gutierrez Reed said she hadn't been sure if she was ready for her last job on The Old Way. A shooting on the Rust set killed cinematographer Elena Sanchez and injured. Yeah, we know about that. The gun handler for the movie of Rust, who set the actor Alec Baldwin fatally shot the cinematographer on Thursday, yada yada, said last month that she had been worried about her experience level for her first job as head armor. She had told a podcast she almost didn't take the job on the movie The Old Way because she hadn't felt or been sure that she was ready for it. Fuck, I hate when I go up. Sorry about that. And Russ was her only second film as head armor. She had finished shooting The Old Way with Clint Howard and Nicolas Cage. And I just want to bring this up. Nicolas Cage knows guns. So Nicolas Cage is not going to take a loaded gun. If you guys, shout out to Nick Cage. I'm so glad I actually got to use him in an article. But yeah, Nick Cage is actually very versed with guns. The crazy fuck actually owns the old school 6-shooters. Swear to Christ, he owns 6-shooters. He probably fucking shoots them off in his house. I love Nick. In case you guys don't know, I love Nick Cage with all of my heart and soul. And I'm pretty sure that if Nick Cage was on a set, because I know about this movie, The Old Ways, coming out. And I just saw Ghostlands. I got to do a review on that. I was waiting for Halloween to review it. But yeah, I wanted to see The Old Ways. And I can guarantee you, if you gave Nick Cage a gun, he checked that shit before he fired it. And I'm pretty sure he might have caught any mistakes too. So because we don't hear about Nick Cage accidentally shooting someone or anyone on that set. So it was it looked pretty funny. Oh, hey Christine, how are you? Let me see. Yeah, that's the only new person, but yeah. That is an understatement. He loves Nick Cage. Yeah. Yeah, that is my next question. If you were nervous about the job, why take it? Especially, look, money plays a factor. She's young. Probably offered her more money than she had seen, even though it's an independent film. You know, it was probably the money was probably decent. I'm gonna say. So I would say someone as young as her probably isn't operating off conscience yet. She reached that age where you start to regret your decisions. No, that's terrible. But no, I don't think I think she was thinking a lot with like the money, like, oh my goodness, this money looks so good. It was a really badass way to start off a really long and cool career, she said on a podcast. It was my first time being head of armor as well. I almost didn't take the job because I thought I wasn't ready. She had added her initial fears of loading blanks. I think loading blanks was the scariest thing for me because I was like, oh, I don't know anything about it, she said. But she said her famous father helped train her. One of these fucking legacy kids. Jesus Christ. Baldwin fatally shot Hutchins, the director of photography, and injured Joel Shue with a prop gun. An affidavit said Baldwin had been handed a gun by the assistant director. Now, I'm going to bring up this douchebag in a second because I have my issues with the assistant director as well, but who indicated it was a cold gun. So, see, this wasn't just Baldwin. Like, everybody failed on every check of this because it went through the assistant director. He should have fucking checked the gun. No, who the who the fuck was trained to check these weapons? Every single fucking person. I don't give a fuck if it was a baby walking across the fucking set. Okay? If they were around the gun, everybody should have had fucking knowledge to check these fucking things. See, hold on. All right. This is a self rant, but if your motherfucking job is working with weapons, okay? I don't care if it's a fucking guy who's delivering bagels and is there every day and he's going to be on set and a gun just happens to. Anybody who is in contact with fucking guns should have training. So the motherfucking assistant director didn't say anything. The armorer didn't say anything. Who knows the 15 or 20 people that were supposed to check the fucking gun before it got to the assistant director didn't say anything? Are you shitting me? How do you not feel there is a clear weight difference between live rounds and blank rounds? It's a little bit tougher, okay, if you're Baldwin and apparently you're Jesus Christ and you walk on water and you've never handled the gun, you might not know the difference. But for people who are seasoned or anybody who's had any kind of experience with a weapon, there's a fucking clear difference. So it mystifies me as to how no one could tell that there were fucking live shells versus blank shells. The amount of fucking stupidity is tremendous. Like, I get people wanting to be sensitive, but I don't get how people can treat this subject so fucking sensitive where this is a clear fuck up people should own up to. And everybody goes, well, people are piling on and there's going to be this. No, I've seen some interviews and coverage of this. People are not being as harsh as they could be or should be. Had this been anybody else in the fucking world who had shot someone and ended their life, the media would have hung them on a fucking cross. But because it's Alec Baldwin, they're scaling it back. That's what it really feels like. They're covering the story how you normally cover a story. But this is all wrong. This is all fucking wrong. The whole thing is wrong. Let me read some comments. I'm sorry. I got to take a break from this article. It's tough for me to read because this is so irresponsible. Like, wow. I didn't realize that even like the assistant director handling nobody had fucking training at all. Nobody. This is spectacularly irresponsible. Jenny Godden says, yeah, I would have double checked the guns. Yep. Even if I thought it would have been 100. Yes, Jenny, any fucking person with any base knowledge or even common sense would have checked the fucking gun before handing it to your actor who's an activist. Lily Potter says, but I still would have taken it. I don't care if it's 1,000 pounds. I'm 21 and I wouldn't because I know that I would kill someone in safety checks. Lily, you're one of the few people that I hear who would say that, and I salute you, because that's the biz, right? If you have an opportunity to get ahead, right? Fuck being safe. Fuck having the knowledge to keep the people you're working for safe, right? You want that big promo. That's what it sounds like to me. Because when you have someone who goes, I wasn't going to take it, but then I took it, that's clearly like, in your heart, you shouldn't take something, or have somebody seasoned with you. Have somebody who has fucking more experience. If you're uncomfortable, have them bring on somebody else to double check your work. Holy shit. Excuse me while I hit my head because of WTF. I agree. TJ Work in Progress says maybe she should took the job experience thinking the rest of the crew have checked too. Maybe she took the job for the experience thinking, yeah, I agree. TJ, I agree. There's not, for me in this, there's not just one person to blame here. I don't solely blame one person. This is a combination of idiocy on multiple levels. Like, there's so many fucking people who dropped the ball on this. I believe she shares the blunt of the blame because she's the head of armory. If you can't handle that job with fucking weapons, you shouldn't take it. Plain and simple. But no, multiple people failed. Multiple people failed this. Proof that nepotism kills, 100% geekocidal tendencies, 110%. But it was a cold gun. It was loaded. Every gun is loaded no matter what people say. It is a loaded gun, even if people emptied it. It's still a damn loaded gun. Yep, I agree. I absolutely agree. Tiffany Daniels here with a passionate shout. I hear you, girl, says, my stepdad drilled it into my head while training me with guns to always check your damn weapons. Yep, I got that same speech too. My mom's always checks hers, for God's sakes. Yeah. I don't get how everyday people can get this, and a production company was so flippant about how they were handling this. It's crazy. Oh, all right. Rebecca, you have a good. Hey man, I'm gonna be on here for an hour or so. This is mind boggling. I have to work this out with you guys. This is so stupid. Jesus Christ. Where are they not checked like Jesus? Exactly. This is fundamentally bad on every level. Maybe her famous daddy pushed her into the job. TJ, you're not wrong. Good points. You're not wrong. And that's the sad part here too. Fame pays into this. Fame pays into this, but you know who suffered? This poor woman who's the fucking photographer, who I know had nothing to do with this, okay? She just takes the fucking film, okay? So she's not in the chain of fuckery that happened. And isn't that how it goes? Isn't how this goes? None of the people who I feel should have something happen so that they learn for the future, have them happen. It's always the innocent fucking people that learn the lesson that these people should be learning themselves. And look, people can say that's cold, whatever, but this is somebody died. Some husband lost their wife, and a child lost their mother. Okay? Having kid gloves about it is not my style. I think that the person who was responsible for this should have been shot themselves. Maybe not kill them, but maybe in the leg or something, and be like, that's how it feels where you're fucking irresponsible with weapons, whether it's blanks, whether it's fucking live rounds. Because guess what? Blanks that are at close range could still fuck you up as bad as regular bullets. It just hurts less, but it could still fuck you up. It doesn't matter if you have a blank gun, if you have a cold gun, if you have a hot gun, if you have a gun full of live ammo, if you have a gun full of blanks. The safety standards should still be maintained across the board. It doesn't matter what kind of weapon you're holding. You're holding a fucking weapon. That should always be respected. Lily Power said, "This is stupid. Come on that poor woman's family." Yep. And this is just terrible all the way around. I 100% agree. Global Energy, what up? Says, "Hey, Hillbilly, are you lost?" Well, I was supposed to find my ranch with my cattle, but I tell you something. I checked that son of a bitchin' gun before I got in there. And let me tell you something. When me and Earl drink, I still unload that shotgun, check that son of a bitch, make sure the animals aren't live, and then we go corral hunting. Oh, God. I know somewhere someone's going to be really pissed off. Look, I've been in the country a couple of times. That's how I interpreted it. So if I offended you, no, I'm not sorry. That was a fucking funny joke. Anyways, no. Thank you, Global Energy. I needed a good laugh. But anyways, yeah, this was negligence, pure and simple, on every aspect. Every fucking aspect of this was negligence. There wasn't, as I'm reading, there is not one point where a fucking gun was handled correctly. And I should go down there and be like, "Hey, let me sit you guys down and give you a fucking proper lesson." Jesus Christ, thank you, TJ. I'm glad I brought you guys. I'm glad I brought some guys some fun laughter. Why wasn't there more experienced experts? I agree. There should have been. I agree. Experts. I mean, there are weapons experts used to train actors. Yep, using swords. Exactly. And it's definitely more important with guns. Global Energy says, "So fucking what? You cocksucking useless government fucking kill innocent people daily fucking cunts." Wow. Well, yeah, I mean, wow, Global Energy. Well said. Yeah, that's a lot. That's definitely. I agree. Lily Powder says, "I don't like guns at all. People scare me. Never mind a person with a gun." So let's continue on. This is very intriguing. I'm finding it very interesting here. Um, the New York Times and Associated Press had reported, Insider reported that the police said they interviewed an armorer as a witness following the shooting. It was not clear whether the armorer was Gutierrez or Reed. Correction, earlier version. This story misstated that Rust was Hannah Gutierrez Reed's first professional job as head armorer. It was the Nicolas Cage movie. That was the first one. Rust was her second film. Still, which they did that correction. This so fucking odd when they edit that shit. But yeah, that was. It doesn't matter. It was still poorly handled. It doesn't matter if it's her first or second fucking movie. It makes it worse that it's the second movie because you should take what you learned from your first job and apply it to your second job, which tells me, okay, if it's your second movie and a tragedy happens and there were things reported on the first film that you did wrong and you didn't learn from those mistakes, you don't give a shit. That's how I see it. If you make the same mistakes and the second time around the mistakes get somebody killed, you don't give a fuck about what you do because you didn't take what you had learned about the guns on set and apply it to your second job. You didn't learn a fucking thing. And there's YouTubers out there, there's people that cover this shit out there that do this and say, well, we shouldn't feel bad for these people. We shouldn't get on them. We should. We should. Hollywood gets a pass on this shit all the time. Had anybody else in this fucking world done this, okay? Had it not been Alec Baldwin or anybody else connected to this, right? They'd be in fucking jail right now. They'd be in jail waiting while they did the investigation. Anybody else would have had a shitstorm, not to mention the press and everything else. So why the fuck is it like this feeling like we've got to be delicate about it? No, we should be tougher, because this is people who are supposed to fucking know their jobs. I mean, and it's not even this girl's fault, because who the fuck hired her? It's like, I don't give a fuck. Look, if you're shooting a movie with guns, I would assume, even if you don't have the money to get the best, you would get the fucking qualified, right? But they're so busy working about, right, diversity and all of this stuff and inclusion, right? Right? They don't care about qualifications. And this is what happens. This is what happens when every step of the way you fuck up your job. So no, I don't think you can just say, oh, it's this person, it's that person, because no, everybody fucked this up, apparently. Who the fuck hired this girl? She was clearly too young for the job, and the fact there were fucking accidents on the first movie she did, and then you hire her for the same exact position on this movie, and you're telling me nobody knew. Look, I know Nicolas Cage ain't everybody's cup of tea, okay? I'm one of the biggest Nick Cage fans. Some people aren't. But you can't tell me that someone didn't look into a movie Nick Cage did and goes, well, yeah, this girl, she clearly wasn't trained. She fucked up on this Nick Cage movie. Maybe we shouldn't hire her. Like, this isn't just Alec Baldwin. Everybody fucked up royally here. Every fucking person. Except for coffee and bagel people. I'm going to leave them out of it. I fucked up calling them out before. But everybody else fucked this up. Completely. Totally. Everyone fucked this up. Hey, Rob, what's up? I haven't seen you. Jenny, inclusion my ass. I agree with that one. I agree with you there. Let me just go back and read some of your comments. It's a little different when I'm on my own. I could actually get through them. I don't mind guns, but I want to be 100% around one at all times. Very true. Lily Potter says, this is just sad that they did not safety check professionally trained guns. I agree. My question is how no one take the gun away from the person who saw them waving the gun around. I 100% agree with that. I have no fucking clue. No idea. Geek Style Tendency says, my dad's an armor in the Air Force. Yep, 35 years. If he fucked up, people got nukes. Yeah, the armors in any, like when I was in the service, we had the armor. They were weird people and very angry all the time. Do you know what it's like to have to keep inventory? If you do your job the way you're supposed to do it, the armor has the most miserable fucking life ever. They were the grumpiest. They looked like vampires when they came out. They were giving you the cure, man. They hated their job and their life, but they did their job well. I can honestly say I never had a misfire. I never had a live round in the chamber, but I checked my fucking guns. So, but when I checked, there was never anything in there, you know? So that was a sign of a good person. And look, not everybody gets it right, but that's why there's double checks. So when people check and check again, it's simple. This could have been avoided. The UK doesn't have guns as a rule, not even filming. There are weapon experts on site, more than enough. I agree. I agree, TJ. I agree 100%. Conclusion my ass. I saw that. Brules. Going to handle a gun in a movie, you better have qualifications and the history of guns like a course. Yes, there are courses, Lily. There are. I'm going to get to that later because there are safety courses people are supposed to take. Crumble, 100%. That's why you're always welcome on my channel, buddy. Tommy, Alex hired Armor and everyone else. He wanted unsafe, cheap staff. Yep. That's crazy. That is crazy. Why did okay. Anyways, I had guns around me the whole time. Yeah, I agree. This is a mismanagement. This is a mismanagement on every fucking side of the spectrum. Like, I don't understand it. I really don't. I have no clue. So, all right. Sorry. It's different when I'm handling this myself. I got to keep my eyes on the chat. Yeah. But yeah, sorry about that. All right, there we go. Sorry. So yeah, this is crazy how mismanaged this whole thing has been. Utterly crazy. And you know what? Hold on a second, because I'm just gonna do something. Rob, if you are free, my friend, you are always inviting me on your channel, and this just happens to be a day I'm off, which is why I'm doing this, because I'm working every day. If you are free, my friend, I have sent you a link. You're more than welcome to come on and give your thoughts, because I'd be intrigued to see if I'm the only one who thinks that this is a very stupidly, poorly planned out stuff. So, yeah. Anyways, so yeah, this was poorly planned on every aspect. The next thing I wanted to go over here was the assistant director. Okay, the assistant director's role. See, I'm telling you, people, this is not just one person. Like, every single person fucked this up. So, in Rust, set shooting to death, a sharpened focus on the assistant director. This was sent to me by Squirrel, which I saw somebody on that mention the assistant director. Yeah, I was going down the line because I wanted to point something out. We have Alec Baldwin, we have the armor, and we have the fucking assistant director. And here's the irony: the fucking director got shot, not the fucking assistant. This is like, holy fuck. So the assistant director fucks up, the photographer and the director get shot. I'm almost inclined to believe the assistant director was actually trying to take out the director to get the directing chair. Okay, that's just a crazy conspiracy, but I'm guessing most of this was stupidity. But it would be pretty funny to think, with the way that it was almost set up like he wanted to take out the director to take. I mean, I went south with that, but whatever. The assistant, the fucking assistant director, and doesn't even get shot. The actual fucking director gets shot. the irony in this whole thing is unbelievable. The outrage and disbelief over the death of Rust cinematographer Helena Hutchins, shot by actor and producer Alec Baldwin during rehearsals of a scene Thursday, have many Hollywood production communities talking about the man at the center of the tragedy, the first assistant director, Dave Halls. Dave Halls is a piece of shit, and there were problems on The Crow Part 2 because of this fucking piece of shit. That I know from, I'm a huge fan of the Crow movies, and a lot of the issues, because the sequel could have been really good, but this motherfucker sucked, and that's why they're an assistant now and not directing shit, because they fucked up one franchise. Anyways, according to the search warrant filed by Santa Fe County Sheriff's Department, obtained by the Associated Press, Hills picked up one of 3 guns from the mobile cart and had prepared by the production's armorer. So here's the first check right here, right? The armorer, Hannah, had prepared it. Hall allegedly declared the gun a cold gun, which means a weapon that's not loaded. On a recording to the 911 call placed by script supervisor Mima Mitchell, she presumably refers to Halls when she can hear, when she could be heard saying the FAD that yelled at me at lunch asking about revisions. Oh, I don't know. I would say fucktard, because that just seems funnier. See, because of the way they have it. I would say fucktard, who yelled at me during a revision, just because that's what I picture her. So like, yeah, that fucktard who yelled at me during lunch is the same fuck up who just gave someone a live fucking gun. Yeah, that's the one. And the recording obtained by the Albuquerque Journal, she said, he's supposed to check the guns. He's responsible for what happens on set. Alex still should have checked it. But anyways, we'll get back to that. Halls did not respond to the Times because he's fucked. An industry veteran credits dating in the early 90s. Halls worked on films like Bone Tomahawk, which was okay, Balls of Fury, Suck Dick, A Prairie Companion, Bad Center was good, Matrix Reloaded. I like, some people don't. A Simple Plan was pretty good. Fargo is pretty good. A Grim Coincidence, he worked on the first assistant director unit for the Crow Salvation sequel, in which Brandon Lee had died. So he worked on The Crow, but he worked on the Crow Salvation, which was the second film, and that was a piece of shit, a lot having to do with his influence. But anyways, Halls was the first assistant director, had a small on-screen role on 2019 film Darlin', for which Hutchins was the cinematographer. The duties of the first assistant director can include overseeing and set safety and keeping production moving on schedule. So right there, okay, overseeing set safety and keeping on production moving on schedule, okay? One of these cannot supersede the other. So I believe he was keeping the production moving on schedule, but was not overseeing set safety, because had he been, none of this clusterfuck would have happened. That's all I've got to say about that. Let me get back. Sorry, let me just see who else is in here. Hey, Killy, good to see you. Because says KH Zod Army. Oh man. I don't know if that's the case. Oh, hey, Cherry. Good to see you, Cherry. Oh no, I got my own set of trolls. Shit happens. Tommy says he put the crew up 1 hour at a homeless shelter motel. Wow, that is crazy. Mr. G says, "What is this? Was intentional? What if the armorer cleared the gun and then someone, disgruntledly stuck in a live round?" That's not a crazy thing because it baffles me how how many people fucked everything up. This isn't just one person. We're talking about a chain of people who fucked this up. It's crazy to think, but might not be too far off. We don't have enough info. Yeah, that's true. You have there isn't enough info out, but I'll tell you what, there will be. I'm going to be covering it because I find it entertaining as hell. Yeah, Rob, I agree. I don't give a fuck about numbers myself either. TJ says when you want to say something but you can't, the host is American and he'll boot you from the chat. Oh no, I don't. I don't boot. I don't boot the people when I can help it. I try to let everybody have their piece. This stuff with my personal life, I tend to not put up with that kind of stuff for people I know intentionally trolling me. I tend not to give them any time, any thing to say because it's not constructive. Robert, you know, looks like yeah. All right. Well, geez. Sorry, this is what happens when I'm the person who's actually reading the chats. I sit back and I read everything. So, okay, so the duties of the first director is overseeing safety and is keeping the production moving on schedule, right? This guy's got two jobs, two easy things to do. And he did not complete this first one, right? So everybody monumentally fucked up on this production. They did not oversee the safety, okay? And I believe that this first assistant director was rushing because there was also a thing where the person at arms had left before they had given a gun. So if your person at arms is not there, even if they're a 24-year-old incompetent person, it doesn't matter. So there is multiple layers of fuckery to this whole thing. Everybody is wrong on multiple levels with this whole entire situation. So no, I don't just think it's Alec Baldwin. I think it's Alec Baldwin. I think it's the first fucking director. I think it's the fucking armorer. I think it's everybody who was on this set was completely irresponsible with how they handled this whole entire situation. That gun should have never made it anywhere near the actor, but if it did, the actor should have had the training to know that that gun was a live gun and to have told somebody. Or, really super easy, check the fucking chamber. That would have been the easiest. But nobody did that. Nobody did that. And so I think this trying to throw people under the bus bullshit, everybody was wrong. Every single person was wrong in this situation. It was also reported crew members reported tensions on the set. Half a dozen camera operators and the assistants walked off Bonsai Creek Ranch movie set early in the day. Crew members who had spoken with the Times described what they saw as an imperative, thank you, imperative by producers to keep the 21-day shoot schedule and on budget. So there you go. There you go right there. This is all on the assistant, right? Keep the 21-day shoot experience. Fuck if anybody is properly trained, if they are prepared, if safety standards are being followed. No. We don't need that. Just keep the 21-day shoot and keep everything on budget. What a fucking shit show. This is so disgusting. I can't put it into words. That shit disgusts me because indie films notoriously have a shorter budget and things like that. But I've seen a lot of indie films come out. I've watched mostly indie films because regular Hollywood films are turning to shit. And I've never heard of an indie project like this with someone who, yes, you could argue is a bigger named actor, right? Who's fucked up this monumental. This is disgustingly, terribly negligent on every fucking level. This is negligent. Everybody on set, it was just go, said one crew member. They were in such a rush to get things done. There were 3 actors with guns during scenes being rehearsed when Hutchins was killed. Following the 2014 death of an assistant camera operator, Saren Jones, on the set of the film Midnight Rider, assistant director Hilary Swartz was found guilty of manslaughter and criminal trespass and sentenced to 10 years probation. As part of Swartz's probation, she was also received a fine of $5,000 and restricted from working as a director, assistant director, producer on any department, which it should be. But like, so yeah, this is fucking crazy. That is so bad. So bad. Yeah, I know it's not the real one. I know. Hold on a second. But I don't pay attention to this. Anyways, yeah, if you guys see anyone acting indignant, feel free to block them. That's on another whole personal thing that I had going on. I don't deal with that here on my channel, but anyways, sorry about that. But let me get to this because Mr. G had a great point here. Actors cannot be trained in everything they will be asked to do in acting. That's why you hire professionals. Mr. G is right. If you can't train the actor, right, you hire professionals or you hire stunt people to handle the guns. I agree 100%, Mr. G. It was a great comment. 110%. If you can't train your actors, there's that option, right? Even if you're an indie film, you can have the person who specializes in whatever work with the actor to at least make them competent enough to know what's going on. There's always a way. It's a fucking bullshit excuse. It's what it is. Let me see. Yeah, so that's all I got there. But yeah, the whole thing is spectacularly mismanaged. Like I can't even put it to words. So, yeah. Now, the last bit of this, and this is where I'm going to ask for your guys' opinions, because I think that there's another angle to this. And I want to get your opinion because I'm going to side with someone. It's going to be a bit of a hot take, but I want to get your guys' opinion because it's an interesting one, and it's with the media, right? Because this is important, right? People call this stuff out, and now we live in a world where you can't point out mistakes, right? So Alec Baldwin's daughter rips Hateful, right? Hateful, Candace Owens, and we know why they call her Hateful, right? Because we know the political leanings that she has. And look, I don't get into politics here on my channel. It does not interest me. I worked for both sides, and they're all full of shit, to be perfectly honest with you. I think everybody is full of shit, and you should believe whatever the fuck you want to believe. I just find it funny that when it is somebody that doesn't lean in a particular direction, right? We got fucking bullshit headlines like this. Rips the Hateful Candace Owens for calling Rush tragedy, poetic justice. Now, the wording of that comes off as insensitive, but when you fucking watch what she was saying, it does not come off as insensitive because I watched it. She was bringing up the points that I have stated here, right now, here in this fucking live stream. But, right, sub counts, trending, Twitter, people know you, all of that stuff, right? So your leanings and things and what your likes and interests and hobbies and all that bullshit are into it, right? So, first of all, I find it ironic that supposedly Hollywood is so diverse and the media is so diverse and they're attacking a black woman for having her review. Let's just take that out, okay? So they attack her for saying the truth. It was tragic. It was poetic justice because this is a person who's a fucking staunch defender of gun control who mishandled a gun in a movie. There is fucking irony in that. I'm sorry. You could be pissed off if you want to. I followed Alec Baldwin, not saying all the shit he does is terrible, but him as an individual, I've never liked. Okay? But personal bias aside, as I said, I don't completely blame him. He has some of the blame. A lot of other people have blame too. It's the whole entire thing. But saying that her view is wrong because of that is fucking. So people can't have an opinion, right? So she got to come out and attack the hateful Candace Owens. It's fucking ridiculous. And this is why it's sad, because you can't have an opposite opinion. You know, it's completely crazy. All people do is point out the mistakes. Yep. All people do is point out the mistakes to cancel them. I agree 100%. Exactly. You have to watch it all because it can be taken out of context. Exactly. And that's what they do. They clip things. All right, Jenny, you have a good one. Thank you for coming by. The painted words are nearly always taken the wrong way. Yep. 110%. 110%. So, let's read this article because I did find it fascinating. And I want to see where people land because there is an aspect. I'm not going to blame Alec Baldwin's daughter for defending him, okay? I think that's fucking stupid because, look, even if I don't like the actor or actress or their opinion, right? Everybody has a right to be defended. Say some shit happened with me, right? I would hope my daughter would come public and defend me because more than likely I'll be canceled by someone in my lifetime. I might need someone to defend me. Oh, sorry. Monster. I inject it in my veins to keep me going. Oh, man, my fucking life's a mess. This is what happens on my day off, folks. I'm sorry. Okay. Alec Baldwin's daughter, Ireland, didn't pull any punches when firing back at Candace Owens on Monday after Owens called last week's shooting accident on the set of Roots a form of poetic justice, which, to be fair, what they don't tell you in this is she said it was poetic justice to somebody who talks as hateful and mean as he does to everybody else about gun control and then fired and shot someone and killed them with a gun. That's what she meant. See, that's what the fucking articles omit out of that interview because I fucking watched it on the Wire, on the Daily Wire or whatever the fuck it is. I watched what she said because I like doing fucking research, unlike the media today. And she was talking about the irony of the fact that a person who's a staunch gun control person who believes so firmly in making sure safety, right? Safety for other people's lives, didn't check his gun. She's not wrong. She's not wrong. Nothing she said was wrong. Could she have been more delicate for everyone's feelings? Fucking guess, because that's the world we live in, right? Everybody's got to tiptoe around everybody else's feelings, because oh, God forbid, you tell them they're a piece of shit. Well, I'm sorry, there was blame here. You should have. They should have checked their guns. People should have. There wasn't any checks. There wasn't any fucking checks. Tommy says having 2 or 3 movie studios will only create more of these abuses. Yep, low pay hours, long hours, unsafe working conditions. I do agree, 100%. Studios are just as bad. They're not bad when it comes to this. They're just bad in a whole nother fucking way. No matter how you look at the film industry, it's fucked in any section. It's just you pick or choose which fucked you're gonna work for this week. When a tragedy like this happens, emotions run amok, and we say and do things without thinking. Exactly, Sherry, and that's why I can say I don't 100% blame her for coming out and speaking up. You know, emotions are high. I don't fault her for her response back. I do fault the media for probably how they fucking quoted it, because that's what they do, right? We've seen it how many times. They want to keep the news cycle going, right? Keep everything up. There isn't that many people to talk about these days, so they got to create fucking drama. A bunch of fucking scumbags. Cherry K says he didn't check his gun. Saw 2021. Well, there's never misfire. You know what? I'm not gonna say anything, Cherry. Cherry, you're gonna get me in trouble. Okay, we're talking about guns, and I was getting ready to make a misfire joke, and I don't have PB here. He normally does these jokes for me. You know, I don't know. The bear lords, you know, me, I say the shit. I feel like I got a cancel mob that's going to be ready. You are the most disgusting, hateful, cancerous human being I've ever come across, Baldwin wrote on Monday on our Instagram. Regardless of your foul opinions, hold on, because this gets good. Okay, regardless of your foul opinions, most of the time, the fact that you have disrespected the life of a woman who was accidentally and tragically killed, shame on you. And you know what? This isn't as bad as she could have been. So, and once again, this is not Baldwin himself. This is his daughter. And you know that she's taking his side. I don't blame her in that sense, and I do think in this rant there is a point to be said, because yes, where I don't agree with Candace Owens bringing this up, okay, and I agree with 90% of what she said, is the fact that there's still people who are dead due to this, and there does have to be a modicum of respect when talking about the people in context before you say something, right? Even me ranting, right? I'm trying to keep it as respectful as possible, because at the end of the day, this is a fucking tragedy, okay? This woman died.
who was innocent, completely innocent, had nothing to do in this process of what got fucked up, as far as I can see. She was the principal. She was the principal of photography. Okay, this job is disconnected to everything except for shooting the picture and making it the best it could be. Okay, she's one of the few people I could say is truly innocent in this set, right? And it's the innocent person who winds up dying. And at the end of the day, I do agree with that sentiment, right? There is a certain monicum where, yeah, someone was killed, someone died, someone lost their life, and it's not so simple as just saying Alec Baldwin was to blame, right? And Owens wrote that Alec Baldwin spent 4 years dedicated to painting Trump supporters, yep, as evil murderers, which 110%, he did that. He's a dick about it, okay? It shouldn't matter who you voted for, but when this election came around, he was right there in the charge, quick to call everybody else pieces of shit for how they voted, right? So Alex would be an example of poetic justice if it weren't for the actual. See, this is the now here's the full quote that she said. What has happened to Alec would be an example of poetic justice if it weren't for the actual innocent people that were murdered by him. Pray for their families. So sad. Okay. So a follow-up tweet, Owen says, will correct the last tweet to say Alec Baldwin killed someone, not murdered someone. A murderer carries a different legal definition. So she fixed it. Ireland Baldwin capped off her criticism, though, and saying your tweets lack information, our lack of information and ignorance are hurting people. That I disagree with. She's not hurting anyone. She's just telling it like it fucking is. These two women did apparently talk things out. Baldwin posted a screenshot of a series of direct messages between her and Owens, and Baldwin thanking the conservative parliament for taking the time to have a real conversation. And I think that's important too. At least they worked it out. Last Thursday, so yeah, this was all just a recap because God knows I've done that enough in this stream, right? So, yeah, I do agree with some points, right? She has the right to say that because God knows I've wanted something karmically to happen to this piece of shit for years, right? He has degraded and made fun of so many people because of who they voted for, what their positions are, gun control, all sorts of stuff I don't get into on this channel. But he's been a piece of shit and has been a hateful piece of shit to many people. Many people. I know people who are friends of mine who have met him and said he's an arrogant piece of shit. Okay, now I never personally met him. I don't fucking know him. I don't know how he really is. But with that being said, there is that other point that she brings up, right? It's not so much about the man, but it's also about the victims too. The victims do have to be kept in mind, right? What their families are going through. They got to watch all of this shit, right? And they got to live with the fact that someone who went to work as a fucking photographer is supposed to be in a safety, made up world, right? They're never coming back. And that's fucking sad. That is absolutely devastating because people skipped fucking steps. They skipped safety procedures for production shooting, right? 21-day shoot. Got to rush that shit through, right? This was all. Yes, you, Cherry. Yes, you. You know what to do. Yep, context is everything. 100%. That's why I read the actual quote. Because, right, I don't think it was all that bad, but I do see her point. And that's where I'm conflicted because they both do have valid points, right? She didn't say, oh, fuck you because you're a conservative. She said, hey, the way you worded this was wrong. And I do respect the fact that they talk to each other.
Two people with vastly different beliefs and views had a conversation, and they came out. What? Are we still? Wait a second. Yeah, we're still in 2021. You mean you can have a fucking conversation? You talk things out? Holy fuck. I thought that was dead. I honestly thought that died in fucking 2016. But apparently we can. So if these two women can talk it out, I'm pretty sure anybody can talk things out, right? Two famous people had a conversation, worked shit out. Isn't that amazing? Right? Holy fuck. Stars are still capable of it. Lily Potter says, there was no way to take, no way taken out of context. Yeah, I agree. It's the people choose to. Yeah, her son was 9 years old. And that's the saddest. That is a shame. Brett Cohen says, for me, it's just strange how someone who acts so morally superior around guns would take on a role with guns. That is exactly. Well, geekicidal tendencies. I'd have to confirm, but yeah, pretty sure a porn shoot is longer than 21 days. The only photographers that should be scared to die in war is war photographers. Yep, because I 100% agree. And so this should have never happened, right? Bad luck on all ends, bad management on all ends. But I don't like to end sad. So I do want to talk about somebody who I like. Don't throw stones at me, okay? All right. Before I say this person's name, this guy's like radioactive, but I love him. Mel Gibson, my boy Mel, getting work. Look. I know what people are gonna say, right? I know what people are gonna say. Zod, Mel Gibson, man. But look. If Charlie Sheen can have a redemption arc, okay? If we can fucking redeem Charlie Sheen, I think Mel deserves a second, maybe third chance. I'd give him a fourth, okay? I love Mel Gibson. I've loved his stuff. I don't co-sign everything he said, but I understand the things that he said. And he was drinking. He was look. I have supported people who make mistakes and stuff like that. He was a bad alcoholic. He made some terrible mistakes, and I don't like the idea of condemning someone, especially if we can give people like Kiefer Sutherland and all of these other people chances. Mel fucked up. He's made amends. I'm glad he's getting work. And I'm actually pretty excited to see him in John Wick, because the last film I saw him in, Kill the Fat Man, was fucking phenomenal. And look, I know there's going to be some people who can't stand it, right? They hate him, but you can't take away the man's acting abilities. You can't. Even if people hate him, they won't admit that he's a damn good actor and a damn good director. I mean, so there we go. I know, let me know what you think. But yeah, I'm a fan of Mel. I still don't have a problem with Mel. I would like to see him, yeah, Geekicidal, thank you. I think he did get a raw deal. Boss level, yes. Brett, yes. I saw that. It was epic. It was so good. Like, he hasn't lost a beat. Yep, Kreml. I agree. Lily Potter? What? Who's? Oh, Lily. I forget. A little bit younger. You don't remember the days of Lethal Weapon 1, 2. I don't go beyond that. Lethal Weapon 1 and 2. Mad Max. Okay, not Fury Road. I'm talking the original Mad Max. I was watching that the other day. Mad Max 2, and Beyond the Thunderdome. Classics, okay? And then that's not even getting into like all of his other stuff that he's made. Like God, there's so many movies I can't begin to list them, but you've probably have seen a Mel Gibson movie either directed by him or with him in it sometime in your life. You just never realized it. It's so sad. Uh Shout out to Mr. Zod. Yes, isn't it perfect? Leftist people like Baldwin who are anti-gun and use guns in their own movie. I agree. Hey, look, I 100% agree with that statement. 100%. And that's just the hypocrisy. And I call that shit out because I don't care where you lean, but let's be fair. Let's be down the line with that, right? But yeah. Haha, I thought you would be upset by that. Mad Max. I've seen that actually like them. Good. Whew. You had me worried. See Cherry, but you know Braveheart. Everybody knows something Gibson's done. I mean, he's an actor like let me see, I'm trying to think, like a Stallone or something like that. Like even if you don't know much of their work, you have come across them some point in your life somewhere and didn't even realize it. He's one of those actors. He's been around forever, and I've always yes. What women? I was watching that the other day, TJ. I was watching that. Where was that? Amazon. I was watching. Oh, it was so fucking hilarious. To this day, it is so hilarious. And having a daughter, I think about that. Like, wow, I wouldn't want that ability. To tell you the truth, I don't want to fucking know what's going on in my daughter's head or my girlfriend's head. I like to keep the mystery. It keeps it fun. Okay, does anybody really want to know that? No, we don't want to know, because then you gotta ask more questions, and it's a never ending cycle, right? That's the fun of relationships, I think, is sometimes not knowing what the fuck the other person is thinking. You just look and you're like, I have no fucking clue what you are thinking. Every day is an adventure. Let me just say that. And I love my girl for that, though. I love it because it keeps things interesting, right? I wouldn't want that fucking Gibson ability. Fuck that. And I especially don't want to know what my daughter's thinking whatsoever. I will keep that fucking mystery till the day I die. Don't want to know. Nope. No. Whatever she volunteers, I'll deal with, but I don't want to know anything beyond that. That would be that would be too much. With parted with Grant Page many times. The main stuntman for Mad Max. Oh, you partied with Grant Page, huh? As a director, he makes brilliant movies. Yes, Apocalypto was massively underrated. Massively. Expendable 3, Beaver. Beaver was very good. It was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. I actually watched no trailers for it, and no. I'm a woman, and I don't want to know either. Well, I'm glad because, yeah, I could be the only one get the green go. Yep. In Australia, like Russell Crowe, they are known. But where have I seen him in? You could pick up you could pick up hey Aaron. You could you could pretty much pick him up. There's a lot of different movies. Man, I gotta send you a list. I'll send you a list of Mel Gibson movies. I got a Mel Gibson collection. But anyways, Mel Gibson, first star, set for John Wick Origin Series, the Continental for Starz. Super excited. Okay, if you guys don't know, besides Nicolas Cage, I love John Wick. I covered it and said in the beginning it was going to be brilliant. and nobody knew what the fuck it was. Now it's blown up. I am super fucking excited that a Starz series is getting fucking Mel Gibson in their show. Like, that is huge. Oh, you got me, Crummel. You got me. Fuck, I fell for it. This guy got me. Yeah, 12 movies either completed or in production for the next 3 years. I know. I'll give Mel one thing. He stays busy. Mel's a busy guy. Busy guy. So, Mel Gibson is set to star in the Continental, the prequel to the Keanu Reeves film series, John Wick, which is I love with all of my heart and soul. I don't give a fuck. I love John Wick 1, John Wick 2, and John Wick 3. I don't care what people say. Oh, it's whatever. Those movies, now those are safe movies. You know how long these people train for those movies? Keanu Reeves takes 6 months to a year before they even start fucking shooting the John Wick movie to train or to get himself. And after doing these 3 times, he still takes the time to train. Okay. So I respect the hell out of everyone behind these movies because they put a lot of love and care. And I don't think this series is going to be any different. The Continental will be presented as a 3-night special event TV series. Whew. Oh, this is okay. Got comments. This is going to be fucking epic. The Continental will explore the origins behind the Hotel for Assassins, which increasingly has become the centerpiece in the John Wick universe. I'm so glad John Wick has a John Wick universe. Anyways, this will be accomplished through the eyes and actions of young Winston, who is dragged into a hellscape of a 1975 New York to face a past he thought he'd left behind. Winston charts a deadly course through New York's mysterious underworld in the harrowing attempt to seize the iconic hotel, which serves as a meeting point for the most dangerous criminals. No word yet who will play Winston Scott. The hotel owner is played in the films by Ian McShane, who is one of my favorite actors and grossly underrated. Gibson will play a character named Cormac. It's rare foray into television for Gibson, who has made his acting debut on an Australian television drama series, The Sylvans, from 1976 to 83. During his run, he made his Australian screen breakthrough in George Miller's masterpiece, Mad Max, and Peter Weir's Galapolo. I have no clue what that is. And The Year of Living Dangerously, en route to becoming a Hollywood star, which would make Lethal Weapon films the Best Picture winner, Braveheart, which he directed. The John Wick trilogy has grossed $600 million. The films have been scripted by Derek Kolstad and directed by Chad Stahelski. And John Wick Chapter 4 is currently shooting in Germany, France, Japan, which is going to be epic. And Reeves is reprising his assassin character. Executive producer Greg Coolidge, Wayne, and Ride Along, which Wayne was a pretty decent underrated show, and Kirk Ward are writing the event series and serve as showrunners. Thunder Road Pictures and are behind it, and all these people, and I go through all that. From the modest origins, Wicks is coaxed out of retirement to hunt down the son of a mob boss after he killed his puppy dog. Yep, we all know the story. And, they've gone from there. This is the part I wanted to get to. So the Continental, what we're exploring with the Continental is young Winston and how he became, or how it came to be that he and his team of Confederates found their way into the hotel. which we have met for the first time in the movies franchise 40 years later. Biggs said that that's the arena I won't give away for more than that. But Starz really leaned into this take also, and they have great collaborators, and have also approached this first season as 3 essential 90-minute events, which they could construe as a limited series or a limited event series. So it's going to be limited, which I'm fine with. I think with television shows, I don't like anything where it keeps going, because then it just loses all its appeal. McShane had previously said he wouldn't appear in the Continental, but he might do a voiceover. And Lionsgate has said that while Reeves likely won't appear in the series, but I don't know. I think there'll be some kind of connection. But yeah, Mel Gibson, man, coming to Starz. That's exciting. Like, it's gonna be interesting to see how the series goes. It's only 3 episodes, 90 minutes. I'll be covering that. They're coming back soon. John Wick 4, 5, 6, 9. Hey, TJ, as long as they're good, I will go see John Wick number 50. If they make the quality that they have been doing for the past 3 films, and that's just it, right? This is the amazing part. You can make a series of movies fucking easily. You know what you do? You just make a good film. It's amazing, right? Baffling. That people don't understand the formula. You don't have to be original all the time. You just have to make something consistently good quality that people like to see, that isn't full of politics and bullshit, right? Because none of the John Wicks have that. Thank the good Lord, right? I want to see something I could go down, sit down and watch, and I don't feel fucking guilty for watching it. And John Wick does. Look at Fast and Furious, okay? I'm not a huge fan. I've watched some in between there. I'm not going to lie and tell you I didn't watch them, because some of them, I'm bored. I want to see the fucking car jump unrealistically from one building to another and fucking make it perfectly, right? Those movies have their places, right? It's not high concept art, but it's a good fucking time, right? And if you do it well, you can make 150 of them, and guess what? People will watch them because you're producing shit that is good, that people like. And it's not that fucking hard. And I don't understand why in this day and age it appears that it is. Oh, that's right, because they want to put agenda in politics and making you feel bad for your race or your sex, right? Or any of that, right? That's why. It's too hard to write anything when you're trying to put your political stance in everything. That's the issue that everybody has. All you have to do is make a good fucking movie and people will watch it. They've been doing that since the fucking 70s. And I'll tell you what, Mad Max, I'm going to be real. If we're talking quality, film-wise, and, back in the day, it's not the greatest quality movie. Let's just be real. It's a classic. I love it, but it's not the best acted movie. Direction's a little wonky. Some of the special effects don't really hold up today, but I'll still watch it because it's got that thing. It's got something that makes it good, right? People put love into the film, and you tell somebody who gives a shit about what they're making as opposed to somebody who's just making it for a quick buck. And I'll say, even with John Wick getting a higher production, I don't feel like they don't give a shit about what they're presenting. I've watched every behind the scenes. I've seen all of the interviews. I'm a big John Wick fan. But anyways, they still use practical effects. They actually blow cars up. Keanu Reeves does his own stunts. He cares about the movie. And at the end of the day, right, that shows on screen. That's why people will come to pay to see the movie. It's so crazy how people don't get that formula.
Galliop, brilliant Aussie war movie. Thank you. And you know what? If I could get my hands on it, I'll watch it and I'll make a review and tell you guys what I think. It's probably one of the few Mel Gibson movies I haven't seen. Justice for a Depp, how are you doing? Working on a new video talking about Johnny hating Hollywood. That seems to be the sentiment. Although this channel kind of hates Hollywood too, so I guess we all get along. I'll watch it till 1,000 times. I agree. That's right. That's what it is. And escapism. You know. No, it's not. But it's just a damn good movie. Yeah, I agree. Quality over quantity wins every time, and I agree. And that's the crazy part about the John Wick movies. I feel like they got both. I got wasabi. Well, I wish I had that. But anyways, right? It's not always it's a lot of different there's a lot of different things, but I feel like, and if you look at the schedule of John Wick, if you look at the time between each movie, it's like 4 or 5 years per film. Okay? They get longer, the wait that they have between them. And I respect that because they don't want to rush the story out. They take their time and they plan, right? And I haven't seen any accidental shootings, so I'm going to go with everything is fine. Fuck, I'm sorry. I had to get that in there. Anyways, this has been my hanging with you guys. Just wanted to do a short stream. It was only supposed to be an hour on the dot, but I'm never fucking concise. Thank you, everybody who came to just watch me rant about this. I really wanted to talk about it because I wanted to get everybody's opinions. I like seeing how other people land on these things. I think it's super important that. Oh, was I frozen? Fucking internet. Anyways, all right, you're gonna have to deal with my frozen face. Oh, James Michael Taylor died. Jeez, it's been a sad. You know what, Justice for Depp? It's been a sad couple of months going on. There's been a lot of shit that shouldn't happen. But anyways, thank you everybody for watching. Please hit that like, share, subscribe, all of the YouTube things. And anybody who misses this and rewatch this, tell me in the comments below, what do you think about this whole Alec Baldwin thing? Who do you blame in it? Are you like me? Do you think just everybody needs to be arrested because they all fucked up very equally? So, except for the bagel and the coffee guy. No, don't arrest them. They're the innocent ones. They're the tragedy. We're going to lose another bagel and coffee team. Anyways, thank you everybody. You all have a good day, and I will see you on Friday night for late night talks. We'll have the full crew with me, and we'll probably dig more into this because God only knows what Husky, pop culture, and possibly a mad squirrel will have to say. You all have a great afternoon, and remember, the only rule here in the fandom zone, kneel before Zod.
The darkness before